Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer, and for this week's discussion board, we were to discuss the differences between families and other social groups, what is unique about the family, what may be included in adopting a family relationship framework, and then the benefits and obstacles to using family relationship framework perspective and practice. So to begin, I just reviewed the textbook for this week, the assigned reading from the textbook Family Therapy and Overview, 9th edition, written by Goldberg and Goldberg. So according to the text, it says traditionally most family systems are developed through birth, adoption, or marriage. And that basically family members, family membership remains intact for life, even if they aren't living in the same house or like the same state. Usually families remain intact despite any kind of distance or even death, or even with temporary or permanent separation from the family. So even if somebody, is estranged from their family, don't talk very often, they're still considered a member of that family system. Additionally, even though families go through relationship status changes such as like divorce, separation, or even remarriage, they're still considered to be in the family together, either through the birth of their children or just, the nature of the relationship they had. That family bond would still be intact. Also, families usually develop through like stages, and then they have the ability to adapt and evolve throughout any kind of positive or negative life experiences. Families also have shared rituals like holiday celebrations or even cultural, events, traditions, things that they may do that they separate or that they celebrate together as a family. And then those rituals usually would stay intact throughout the span of a lifetime and even, through future generations due to those rituals they have developed. So that is what a family is, and how that differs from like an other social group. So through reading the text, there was an example of like students, people who are part of a student social group. So like the students at Dell State in this MSW program. So we are all a part of that social group because we're all students in the MSW program. However, just because we are all in that social group together does not mean that we all talk or engage together or even form relationships or bonds, things like that. Most of the time, unless you've developed some kind of friendship or intimate relationship, partnership, what have you, you usually take your class together, and then that kind of ends your engagement, involvement with your, peer, student, thing like that. So the difference between like that kind of social group and like a family members engage throughout their lifetime, whereas in social groups you do not. And so something that's unique about families is just that, the ability to have that relationship that spans through the lifetime, even through changes in relationship, like I said earlier, through marriage or divorce or remarriage, things like that. But not only that, according to our textbook, some people develop families based off the choice of wanting to, have a connection, kinship with somebody else. So there's not always a biological connection that develops the family. Sometimes it's just the choice that you want to, have a family with this person. And it's important to understand that not all families are in the traditional sense, which is, a mom, dad, children, things like that. So it's important, especially in practice, to understand that families come in all kinds of different makeups and things like that. So as it relates to adapting a family relationship framework, the practitioner professional should understand gender roles, gender ideology, as well as being culturally competent. As I noted before, it's not all families do not adapt a traditional framework with how they present. So it's important to understand that, what it looks like traditionally and non-traditionally, and how you can best serve your client. Additionally, in a family framework perspective, you would shift from an individual perspective to a family systems approach. You would understand that families have an effect on the individual and vice versa. And with the use of a family relationship framework, professionals also shift their thinking on how they view the context of the family problem issue. The focus would be more on what is happening, how is it happening, and when is this occurring, rather than why is this happening and trying to assign it to somebody as like this one person is causing this problem within the family. That kind of approach allows for all members of the family to be involved in the conversation of identifying behaviors of patterns of concern. Additionally, family framework focuses on the process, not the content. So you really want to focus on, what is being said, versus like how is it being delivered. So just trying to peel it back, what is being said, not necessarily the content of it, just processing what is going on, what is happening at this time, and what is really trying to be said in that moment. And then lastly, it just says that allows the focus on all family members and just how they may be contributing to the problem issue, as well as how they can help contribute to the resolution of such problems. And also you want to, as a practitioner, have an understanding that whatever is being presented in this family model, it's not necessarily an indication of something that happened in the past, but instead having the understanding that, whatever is going on, whatever is occurring right now should be considered to be ongoing and interactive within the whole family. And then lastly, just some benefits to using the framework perspective, just through viewing the text. One of the benefits that I saw was that as a professional, you can really see how resilient families are, their ability to cope and adapt to change. So the benefit of that would be able to see how families transition through the different life stages, how they're able to reassign their different roles as needed, and then how they're able to adapt and cope to stress, in their life, and just seeing how resilient they are as a family unit. One of the cons to this kind of approach would be that one of the cons mentioned in the textbook is that professionals may assume universality among all families. So you really have to understand that not all families are going to develop, at the same pace or, even on the same level, things like that. So you don't want to assume that, because this family has been intact for this long, this is where they're at, that sort of thing. Another obstacle family framework could be on the other side of, watching family resiliency through adapting and changing, but also in the family unit, you always have all family members have assigned roles, tasks, and things within the family. So as the family ages, adapts, and matures, those roles change. So as a professional, you have to understand what everybody's role is to try to assist this family. So making sure you're being kept up to date on the different role changes, things like that. And that is all I have for today. Thank you.